Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Looney. Big news today. The jobs report came in way worse than expected, showing a 911,000 miss. But somehow the market was still green. And we're going to look at one of my positions, Riot, that was my biggest gainer on the day. And then we're going to talk about Robinhood. It just had a live stream about its Hood Summit and dropped some major announcements. Let's break it all down. But before we get into this video, quick shout out to the Discord. It is free to join. And then I also offer a premium membership, and it gives you access to one-on-one coaching, trade callouts. I have an option selling course. I do giveaways and more. You can check it out. All the links that are in the description. So yes, the jobs data came in pretty ugly. 911,000 jobs, worse than expected. And this signals that the economy is slowing more than analysts thought. And normally you'd expect markets to sell off hard on these news like this, but instead we saw a little bit of the opposite. Most of my portfolio actually pushed green. And possible reason for this is this makes the Fed cutting rates even more likely in September, which is happening on the 17th. And you can see that bad news is actually good news for rate cut optimism. So again, despite the weak numbers, the market stayed positive. And let's look at one of my positions, and that was Riot. And Riot gets a lot of slack for what kind of stock it is. It is a crypto mining stock. It is very volatile, and it's a very speculative play. I'm very bullish on Riot. You could see it's my biggest position in my portfolio, 27%. I have 800 shares and I'm up 64%. I also have some covered calls that are in the red. I thought I'd be a little bit transparent with that. And I do have a long leap call. So although I'm very optimistic, I am cautious as the entire market seems to be overbought. And who knows, when the rate cut is actually announced, that it might be a sell the news event. And it truly shows how much conviction actually goes a long way. And year to date, I was down pretty heavy back in April, down almost 40%. And you could see now I am green. I'm up 64%. And I didn't sell off any of my shares. I didn't panic sell. I simply just held what I got. And I believe I got a little bit more shares at cheaper prices. Obviously, I'd like to get it cheaper, but I had this leap call, this $5 strike call, and I'm actually up 165% or $600. So that is fantastic. One of my biggest positions doing really well. I'm happy to see that. And my portfolio overall, I'm up green, and year to date, I'm doing really good, up 21%. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and this is massive, Robinhood just wrapped its Hood Summit in Vegas, and they rolled out some major news. And let's actually pull up Hood, as it just joined the S&P 500. So it is absolutely crushing every aspect and every industry. So one thing they announced is dividend tracking. And the way they announced this was based on voting. You were able to vote on the top or 4 different options and pick which one you wanted to see on Robinhood, and dividend tracking was the winner. And it's actually an easy way to see payouts and yields inside the app. And this is phenomenal. I don't have too many dividend paying stocks, but I do have a few, and this is absolutely going to be a game changer for dividend investing. Let's actually pull back up Hood so we could talk more about it. Now, the other thing is they're going to add a social media aspect. I believe they called it Robinhood Social, and this is going to build more of a community that is good for traders and investors. And it's not only can use it on Robinhood, but it works seamlessly with some of the most popular apps such as X, maybe even YouTube, Discord. And it's going to be crazy because adding this social aspect really brings the community together, and it helps with some sort of bots, because it's hard to have bots on an application like this. So I do believe this is a step in the right direction. Obviously, social media can be very controversial, but I do think Robinhood doing this is a phenomenal step forward, as other brokerages aren't even thinking of this. Now, another thing they mentioned is custom indicators, and they use some AI to actually allow you to build some custom indicators. And someone was able to show you that you could basically build whatever indicator you wanted. And you could even use that AI to pick stocks for you. So I believe they did a fun test where they had 100 different stocks, and they asked which stocks of the list can the CEO actually deadlift. And it showed a few of the stocks. I don't know if Vlad can, but he might have been on that list. But it's actually cool because you could build and use your own trading signals. I know for myself, I do use some social indicators for choosing stocks. And I do like the idea of working out. That's why I like SoFi. SoFi has a CEO that constantly works out, and that actually helps me that I want to own this stock. And it would be cool to see some cool aspects like that actually incorporate it in the app itself so I don't have to outsource it. And the last thing, and I've never done this before, and that is the ability to short shares. This is a massive step for active traders who want to profit both directions. And me and myself have never shorted. I'm not even sure how to do it. And this will be a really cool learning aspect that I can explore. And I've been able to do option trading, so I know how buying puts work, but I'm sure it acts slightly different. And I think this is a huge upgrade. Overall, this entire summit was a huge upgrade. We saw a lot of different key aspects that they're going to be incorporating. I couldn't even list them all. That's how much they were actually mentioning. And this is really good for anyone who just uses Robinhood daily. I know myself uses Robinhood daily, and now that I could use it as possibly a social app even helps with this or streamlines what I'm trying to promote. And they're clearly expanding beyond just being a beginner app and becoming into more of an advanced trading platform. And I could not be more bullish on Robinhood, although that all this might be priced into the stock itself, but Robinhood itself, I am very bullish. I think this is a strong company. It is going to be here for a while, especially after being added into the S&P 500. That is a massive milestone, and obviously only 500 companies are in that group. So to sum it up, jobs report was a disaster, if we're being completely honest, but the markets actually still ended up green. And my biggest position, Riot, did really well, and Robinhood absolutely came through with some exciting summit announcements. And if the Fed really does cut in September, this market can get wild. Until next time, peace.